Hi all, thanks for joining today's webinar about automated global service payments in Oracle Financials Cloud. So today I'm going to show you more about making supplier payments within Oracle with our APRO tool. First, I will start with a short introduction of myself, and then later I will talk a bit about the challenges with making payments within the market, and of course, how those challenges can be challenged with our APRO banking gateway solution. After that, I will start with the demonstration. So I will create two invoices with our AP solution from Oracle Cloud, and then I will make the payment with APRO Banking Cloud. A bit about me. I'm working almost a decade at APRO, and I have more than 15 years experience with Oracle, both on Oracle Cloud and e-business suite. So I did a lot of implementations for APRO back in the days. So yeah, that's something that is good to have when I need to speak about the challenges that you could have with making supplier payments. So what we know, a supplier payment, it can take you a lot of time, especially creating the right payment format, the banking format, so that the bank will accept your payment format that you created within Oracle or within a self-made tool. Of course, if the bank rejects your payment, you have to start all over again and you have to create the payment again. So it frustrates a lot of people if they need to work without a good solution to create your supplier payments. So it's good to have a tool that has all those formats ready for you. Especially also there's a high involvement of IT when you need to create a correct banking format. So yeah, it will take a lot of time to make that happen. So why should you use APRO? Well, APRO has more than 1900 banking formats. So yeah, it gives you a good idea that we almost have all the banking formats which are needed from any bank in the world. So if you work with multiple banks or even with one, APRO will have the format to create your supplier payments. So it's all out of the box. There's nothing development that needs to be done based on the connection to the bank, but also making the right and creating the right banking format. Also, a good step is the rejection handling. So that can be done per transaction. So if for some reason you create a payment batch and you have 200 transactions that needs to be paid, then if one of them should get out, you can void the payment within APRO, that one transaction, and you can do the payment for all the 199 others. It's a proven system. It has built-in approvals, so it's also a lot easier for management to do the approvals for your payment batches because they don't have to hop from bank to bank to bank. But for all the banks together, they can go into APRO and do the approvals for all their payment batches for all the different banks that you could have as a company. It's also automated. So basically, we can pick up the file from Oracle, the batch, which is created in the payment model of payables. And then APRO will create the right banking format for you. And then it flows into the bank. So how does it look? You pick up the invoices, you create a payment batch. For some reason, you could have the Oracle payment approval, but if you use APRO banking, then the approvals can also be done within APRO itself. Then it goes straight into APRO, and from APRO, it goes straight through to your bank. It depends a bit if you need to do approvals, which I will do in my demonstration. And then from the bank, you could receive an acknowledgement file that everything is okay, or that some of your transactions are rejected. So what does APRO do? It can pick up the acknowledgement file, it will fetch it from the bank, and then it will reject the transactions which are not going okay because maybe there's a wrong IBAN used or a wrong currency is used or whatever. Then it will be kept out of the payment. What APRO also will do, if APRO sends the right banking format and the banking format is approved, it will send out the payment specifications to your suppliers. So basically, that's something that is missing in this slide, but that will be shown in the demo. So it will save you a lot of time, a lot of frustration from your employees because yeah, it's an out of the box tool. So basically, if you do all the setup which is needed for the specific bank, then you can start creating your payment files for your bank. So the next one will be the demo itself. So let me open, first I will start with an email. So let me go to the actual Outlook. So here there are 2 supplier invoices and they will be processed by APRO. So we first move this to the right folder, and APRO will fetch your invoices from your own inbox, so your own folder, and eventually these will be picked up by APRO. And if they are processed, then the invoices will be placed in a backup folder. So you will not lose any of your invoices or emails, but they will just be placed in your backup folder. So in this particular file, there are 2 invoices waiting. They need to be processed within APRO, and then we can start creating the invoices also in Oracle. So this is APRO. This is the APRO solution. It has a look of similar look and feel like Oracle Cloud itself. And here you can see the number of invoices which are waiting to be sent to Oracle. They are not yet sent to Oracle because someone needs to validate, or they are not allowed to move straight to Oracle. If you have straight through processing active on your source or on your supplier side, then the invoices will not appear within APRO, but straight into Oracle Payables, and then you can fetch them for your payment. So from here, I go to AP Invoice Automation. You have several sandboxes, and I will start clicking on the Import Overview. So this is the overview where it will fetch from a mail account. You can see it's already fetching that email that we just picked up from the Outlook, and it's now start processing the invoices into the workbench. This could be an XML, this could be PDF. For this example, I just picked 2 PDF invoices because this webinar is more about payments than about AP Invoice Automation. But it's still good to see that we can pick up your PDFs or XMLs, do all the recognition on the invoice, and eventually the invoices can be sent to Oracle and make them ready for payment. So we just have to wait until this is finished and the whole run is executed to actually start processing the invoices. If I go to Oracle, then I can already see that there are some invoices ready. So from here, I can have a look at within payables to start fetching already some invoices. So if I go from here, from payables, I have some invoices in here, complete. So we already have some unpaid invoices. These are already full paid. So all 3 will be picked up in a later stage when I create a batch for payment. So let me go back to the actual application. Now you can see it's finished. So it's done. And if I go back, then the invoices are within my workbench. Now you can see I have 2 invoices which are new. These are the days that they are within the APRO system. So here are the 2 invoices that I'm now going to process to Oracle. They are both non-PO, but it's also possible to do PO matching, of course, within APRO with all your details. So here you can see all the header information is in. You can see all the line information is in. Text codes are picked up from Oracle. We have a text code from Oracle. So basically the whole invoice is booked. The only reason why it kept him in within APRO is because it says, I don't know if the invoice number is correct, but it picked up the right invoice number. And it's also not allowed to go straight to Oracle. If I click on Save and Validate, the invoice will be sent to Oracle. It will be checked and validated, and eventually it can be sent to Oracle. So with an API, it's going to be straight into Oracle Payables. The invoice is validated, and now it goes to the second invoice in line. So here we have another invoice. All the coding is done. All the header recognition is in. Line information is in. So the only reason why it's kept out of Oracle is because it's not allowed to move to Oracle. So now both invoices are processed and they will be sent to Oracle as soon as possible. So from here, I can go to the invoice history screen. And from here, I can see all the invoices that I processed of today. So for now, I only have 2 invoices that I'm processing, and those will be sent to Oracle. You can see they are ready for interfacing. Also, you can see if it's paid, yes or no. So if they are in Oracle but not yet paid, it also shows that within our APRO solution, because yeah, it's almost a straight connection with Oracle. So we fetch all the data from Oracle every 5 to 10 minutes to get the latest information out of Oracle. So now it's sent to Oracle. So eventually in Oracle, these invoices will be visible as well. So we just have to wait until that process is done and the invoices are within Oracle. What you can also see from here is that if I go to my to the invoice management screen, from here you can always have a look from what did APRO do, how did APRO recognize all the stuff, and here you can see some are rejected, some are done, and these two are still sent to Oracle. Below you can see all the information that APRO picked up out of the invoice, and also what kind of criteria is used to pick up the right information for each criteria. So for invoice number, invoice amount, currency, invoice number, it uses the IBAN, for example, to get the supplier details, etc. So we just have to wait until everything is entered to create a payment batch with all the payments that I would like to do for this particular run. So now you can see it's done. So it's not yet in Oracle, I believe, because it doesn't have the Oracle steps yet, but eventually it also will be available within Oracle. So let's check if the invoices are now within Oracle. So if we click maybe on this one again, we can see that the invoice are now processed, they are validated, and they are not paid. So these are just created a second ago. And if I click on one of those invoices, I can also see that they are imported by the APRO system just a second ago, and also that we have the PDF attached. So we have the PDF covered also within the transactions. So everything is now included within APRO. If we go back, then we go to payments. So from here, we can go to payables and we go to payments. So now we will create a batch for creating the payment. So let me create a new payment process request. Let me call it webinar demo 6 as a name. I will pick up a template to pick up the right files, and I will submit this one. So it will pick up from all the from this particular entity all the invoices. Now we just have to wait until the batch is created with all the with all the invoices attached. Once that is done, we have to click on submit, like you have to do in Oracle. This part, it can be scheduled also in Oracle. So I'm now showing you the manual step that you need to do in Oracle. But if you make this automated, then you don't see those invoices anymore. Now we can check which invoices are included. We can see the last booked invoices that we just created. I put the payment method on immediately. So that's why they are immediately also visible in this payment batch. And I click on submit. Now we just have to wait again until it's visible to make it ready for APRO to be picked up. And from here, it will be after this step, APRO will pick up the batch and create the right payment file for the right bank. And if that payment file is created, it will also send it directly to the bank. Here is the payment batch again. Click on the action button and let's resume the payment process. So if this is done, you will see that the payment will be uncompleted. And if it's in the complete box, it will also be shown within APRO. So now it's waiting for the payment file processing, and then eventually it will be shown within APRO. So if we go back within APRO, click on the APRO icon, I go to payments. Then I have here my supplier payment workbench. And from here, it will pick up the batch that I just created. So we just have to wait until the batch is there within APRO. And then from here, we can do the approval of that specific batch. Now we can see it's gone. So it's completed. Oh, and the payment batch is arriving within APRO. So you can see how quick it goes. You can also see that there is, for some, we don't need to do approval, but for some we do. So if an invoice is below a specific amount, you don't have to do approval. But for all the others, we have to do the approval to get this invoice approved. So we can approve the batch. And then we can see that the batch is now ready for creation. So if you do the approval, it can also be done by more than one people. It can have like gradual signing within the APRO banking gateway to get things approved. And now you can see that it's ready for creation. Now it's gone, so it's already processed. And then within the complete files, you can see we created a SEPA payment for a bank. And we can also see here the payment file. So if I open the payment file, you can see that the payment file is in. And all the information is now within this payment file. So everything is included and it's automatically sent to the bank. So how does that look? Well, I don't have a bank connection, of course, within my test environment. But if I go to my SFTP connection where we just saved this particular bank statement or bank file, payment file, then it's in here. So basically the payment is done and everything is ready. The only thing what now happening is that we will receive, if it's correctly received, we will receive also the notification messages. So eventually I will see here in my inbox the payment specifications which are sent to the customers. So they will flow in a second. Then I will get for each supplier the payment specification that normally, of course, will be sent to your suppliers. All done automatically by APRO. So the last thing that I would like to show you is the acknowledgement file. So I could also create an acknowledgement file that comes back from the bank with a rejection. So I will place an acknowledgement file in. This one will be picked up by APRO, and within a different batch, something will be rejected. So if I go back to APRO again, then the APRO payment is ready. So yeah, nothing to see in here. And from here, we go back to the history and we can see all the payments that are done. So here you can see also the last 4 payment batches that are created within APRO. And from here, you can see if everything is okay. So there is no acknowledgement status of those invoices yet. And here you can see also no, and here also nothing. And here you can see, hey, we have a rejection. So in Oracle, from the bank, you get an acknowledgement file that one of the transaction is rejected. If you click on view and you should see if it's voided, yes or no. Yeah, it's also voided. So it's also been voided within Oracle automatically. And what I did is I created, of course, my own acknowledgement file to make sure that I will create a rejection. You can see that one is now processed. So this is the rejection acknowledgement file that is received. And yeah, we can also see what is happening or what has happened to this acknowledgement file to this specific batch. So this was the batch name and it rejected one of the invoices. So the rejection was it's an invalid IBAN. So if I go now to the specific batch, so if I would go back to APRO, I would go back to supplier payments history. Then from here, I can check one of those batches with that name. This is the batch. You can see it's rejected. So this is how it came in. It also has all the rejections in here, why it got rejected with the rejection code, etc. So, and you can see which transaction in Oracle it contains. From here, I can also say void payment. So then I'm voiding this payment directly in Oracle. So let me do that part. Then it's automatically voided in Oracle as well. And based on that, we can also now look up if it's actually voided within Oracle. So let me check the number of the document. So I need to check one of these files. Let me go to the payment document number. Here it is. That's the payment number in Oracle. So if I go back to Oracle, and I would go to payments, manage payments, payment number, search. And also now you can see in Oracle, it's voided. So basically it's a one-to-one. If you void an APRO, it's directly visible within Oracle on that specific transaction. So if I would create now a second payment file, so I would start processing it again with the same template, then it will now create, it will pick up this transaction again because it's ready for payment. And it will create again a payment file, payment batch, and it will send it to the bank because there's actually nothing wrong with this invoice, but I just would like to show you, of course, the voided. Here you can see the payment notification for each bank. So we have Schiphol, we have VideoJet, and all the other suppliers that are now receiving a message from APRO with the invoices which are paid. That's all automatically done. This template is of course customizable to your own company name, etc., to make that work. So this is really in a quick webinar to show you from invoice to payment, how you create your payments with your bank. We create a direct connection to your bank, of course, with a host-to-host connection. It could also be an EBIX connection, so that's a more complicated connection that you could have with the bank, and that's all done by APRO.